Hi, and welcome to the Homestead Templar Healer build. Now, I haven't really made any build videos for this patch, just I recently came back to the game, but now I will just do one for the healer like I did for the previous patch as well. So let me just go through over the character sheet for quick. So this is what the stats are looking like. Unbuffed, no food, no spell power potions, 33 max magicka, 12.4k health, 10.3k stamina, 53.8% crit, which is because we're running the Thief Mundus Stone. Spell damage is extremely low, and I will tell you in a minute why. The magical recovery is okay. It's something you don't really need too much, to be honest. 1.6 to 2k is completely fine. You don't really need too much more. So we are running Thief Mundus Stone, and we're also stage 4 vampire. You don't really have to be a vampire, but it's just what I am. Just this character was also a DPS. But you don't really need to be a vampire to be a healer. That's not necessary. We are running the worm, as you're able to see from the gear for this patch. Now, the best in-slot weapon will be a restoration staff that you're able to get from the DSA, because it returns stamina to all your group members who are getting healed by healing sprints. So it's really handy. I will be hands down the best in slot weapon, but I had one but I deconstructed it, and I will now try to get it back, but this is what do we have at the moment. Now this stuff can be now any staff pretty much. Any restoration stuff, it doesn't really matter what stuff it is if you don't have the VDSS stuff. It's powered. Trait can be also anything: infused, charged, sharpened, powered, precise, whatever you want, but powered, in my opinion, is the best now, because it increased the healing done, and especially for me, so I don't have the best in slot gear, and my gear is not all golden. It does increase my heal quite a bit, so it's pretty nice to have a powered staff. Enchantment wise, I don't know, I just stick this spell damage enchantment to my staff. It could be Crusher as well, but this is what I have now for this stuff. Lightning Staff of Agility. Now this is completely a joke. Utter shit. I bought this from the deal store for 2k. I was in a need of a lightning staff that has charge straight on it, and I just went to the nearest deal store and bought it from there. Now the best in slot will be a Maelstrom lightning charged or Aether charged, depending what gear combination you're wearing. But make sure it's charged and it's lightning. That's the best bet. But I've completed everything in this game with this stuff, and I have no issues at all. But this is nowhere near the best in slot. And shock damage glyph to proc the off balance much better. Gear, depending what the other healers is using in the raid. 5 spell power tier and 5 piece of worm. Now if the other healer is playing with the worm, you would either switch to Twilight Remedy, Mending, or Infallible either, depending on the trial you're doing. Mostly I'm the one who run the Mending and Spell Power tier combination, but also Spell Power tier worm if needed. And when it comes to Twilight Remedy, I think if you have a lot of swords in your team, Remedy will be much better than Mending. You don't really need the damage reduction kind of thingy for the raids too much. And I think the only boss where it really helps will be the VMO hard mode and the last boss in AA, but Remedy is still pretty good. even though a lot of people say that he actually isn't. So we run now 5 worm and 5 spell apart here. As you can see, they're purple. The traits are not the best ones. Trait wise, you could go divines, all infused if you want to, but it doesn't really matter. As long as you have the deer, 5 spell apart, 5 worm, or whatever is the other deer, you will be just completely fine. I don't really care about these traits too much. It doesn't affect my gameplay anyway. But you need to make sure, and you want to make sure that this deer is all golden. I'm halfway through there because I deconstructed everything. Because I'm stupid. Now you want to use blue food. That gives you max health and max magicka. 5.3k max health and 4.9k max magicka. That will boost your heals and increase your health quite a bit. And also these essence of spell power. So you want to use the one that gives you also spell critical. Just now the bug has been fetched. So even though you don't have the inner light on the back bar, you still get the crit. So which is pretty nice, and I will show you in a minute that we don't have the crit on the other bar. Skill wise, the front bar has been pretty much the same for me throughout the whole time I've been playing this game. Combat prayer, healing sprints, mutagen, which also can be rapid regeneration, inner light, breath of life, and aggressive warhorn. On the back bar, purify light, drain orbs, harness magicka, and blockade of storms, which is the major change for this patch, because as a healer you're better off going with the lightning blockade to increase the off balance of time on enemies and help the group DPS to grow much higher. As an ultimate we're using Nova on the back bar. Depending on the content, you should switch the purify light to repentance or ritual of retribution. If the fight is stationary, you should put this healing carpet down because it's really nice. It does a bit of damage, but it also heals and also keeps the spell apart to your proc pretty nicely. If the other healer is using the drain, you should swap this to Adric Spear abilities. We talk about the Blazing Spear at the moment. It gives stamina back to users who activate the synergy. Mainly in this case, this will be the tank, but also people who play with 5-Moon Dancer, they're able to proc another synergy, so it's pretty handy for that. And he also does pretty nice DPS for the healer. So healers are not completely just healing, they're also doing decent DPS when you're doing a raid. Healing orbs, this should be also blue orbs, but this is what I have for now. The other healer should use the blue ones if you're going to a raid. And harness magicka, you don't really need this too much, but apart from a few fights like the last boss in the archive or the last boss in the virtual mall, this comes really handy. It can save you from insta death pretty much. You could also use the execute if you feel like it, even though it's not that great option for a healer. But you should still do it, but you have to be really careful when do you use it, how do you use it. Otherwise your team members will just drop like flies and they know exactly who to blame then. The healer, of course. Passive wise, you wanna get all the passives from the restoration staff, skill 3 as usual. All the light armor, some of the medium armors, they're not necessary but they help. And of course these passives you want to get. But if you use 2 gears that are all light armor, these passives don't help you at all. But just in fact, and just in case, if you happen to use medium and heavy armor piece of some other gear piece, or if you want to use the monster stepper instead, these passives also helps you a lot. The Major Shield passives, of course, Undaunted, really important, Orbs, the Altar also, but this is not really needed that much anymore. All your racial passives, alchemy passives, and well, Just try to max out this one. Champion power wise, these change pretty often, but this is what I have for the green ones. You're able to do however you want these pretty much, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're not having issues with the sustain. Blue one. Now there are a lot of healers who go like 100 into Blessed, maybe a bit less to Elfborn, and some points into Elemental Expert, but this is what I have, this is what is enough. Completely enough. I don't need to increase my heals by any chance more, even though I could do so. 78 Blessed, 61 Elfborn, 59 Elemental Expert, 1 into Staff Expert, and 1 in Thaumaturge. Red one depending on the content I'm doing. 62 Spell Shield, 17 Hardy, 95 Elemental Defender, 15 Thick-Skinned, and 10 Quick Recovery, and 1 point goes into Bastion. So I've been doing the VMAW lately, and this is the CP spread I do for the VMAW when I'm healing there, normal and hard mode. When people talk about the rotation as a healer, there really isn't. You heal as you heal, and you have to react to the surroundings. If your group is taking damage, you ignore the buffs and just try to heal them a bit more. And you need to really be quick at bar swapping, understanding how the fight works. You need to learn the mechanics, how to use your skills efficiently, wisely, without losing your group members. You could have also the orbs on the front bar, which I used to have before. But because I use this skill now, there's no place for me to put the orbs. The Breath of Life, I need it on the front bar. It's a panic heal and it's really handy to have it on the front bar. There's no question about that. And if we take the food, the stats are going like this. 39k match magical, 17.9k health, 10.3k stamina, and this amount of health is completely enough for the raids. And you have a bit more survivability because we're not putting every single attribute points into health. And if the tank is using the Ebon armor, you will be completely fine. You're not squishy at all. So that's the build. Thank you for watching, and if you happen to have any questions, send me a PM, but yes. Adios.